Good morning, good morning. The first weekend after my divorce, after I actually left the matrimonial home, the first weekend I went out and partied. Just like I used to do before I got married, before I had a child. And that was a mistake, not gonna lie. And it took me an entire year to figure that out. 52 weekends of the same old thing, going back to partying with my friends, out late nights, to realize that all I really needed was to reset my life. When you're coming out of a relationship, especially a long-term relationship, if you have children, when you leave that world and you're back on the market, the last thing you want to do is go back to your old ways. I mean, I grew up on South Beach, Miami Beach, during the golden era of South Beach, where nightclubs closed at 5 a.m. and eventually we had the 24-hour nightclubs like Space and 11. So that was my era. That was my late 20s and early 30s. So it was a deadly combination of, being very social, having enough money to go out, having a look. At the time I had a beard and kind of like a man bun that was very attractive to a particular type of women. And I had friends that were fun. So after my divorce, I went right back to that same old lifestyle, those habits of Friday night, get ready, go out, have fun, wake up super late on Saturday and do it all over again. And now that I'm in a much better place, I realized that was an entire year that I completely wasted. What I should have done is left the matrimonial home and started my personal development journey right off the bat. I should have hit that reset button and started to reset my relationships, my habits, my goals, my standards, my mindset. But instead I just drifted. I drifted for an entire year, partied. Yes, I had fun. Yes, I met new people. But did I really get ahead? And the answer is no. Until one day I realized that cycle of partying and working and partying and working was gonna lead me to the same place that it led me last time. It led me to a failed relationship and the weakest version of myself. And that's when it all kind of clicked for me. I started reading self-development books, Evo Psych books, watching YouTube videos on self-development and self-improvement. I focused on resetting my nutrition, my fitness, my mindset, and make sure that it's all dialed in, that it became automatic. Therefore, I can focus on the real important things. In my case, that was fatherhood and building a business. And it took me about 3 months to kind of figure it all out and hit that reset button. And the beauty of doing a lifestyle reset is that it's really the only way to get rid of the old and bring in the new. Because if you do it gradually, your mind will always drift towards comfort. So if you introduce discomfort right off the bat, you have a better chance of your mind molding and adapting to new habits, new standards, new values, new skills. And after those 3 months, I was a new person. You can ask my friends. We went out to dinner a few times and they did not recognize me. I had different and new political views. I looked different. I had a new hairstyle. I spoke differently. I was more eloquent and spoke with emotion and direction. I had different goals. I was no longer willing to sit there for 3 or 4 hours because I had things to do. I was unrecognizable. And that's all thanks to hitting the reset button. I keep calling it that because if you can just visualize your life as a before, and then there's a button that you hit, and then there's the after. If you can visualize that and really accept it for what it is, a transformation, then that's when you start telling people, no, I don't do that anymore. I'm not there anymore. I do this now. Because you have that line in the middle, that button. That's where you press the button. That moment in time when you are no longer that person and you are now this person. And yes, this new person, it's a work in progress. But as long as you know where that line is, you're in a great place. As long as you don't cross back to your old ways, you're great. You're progressing. You're doing things for the new you. And that process for me was so instrumental, and it was actually very hard, that I actually took some time to write down everything that happened and why it happened and how I can prevent it from happening again. And I took all that information and now I want to share with you guys. So in the description below, you will see an 8-day challenge. It's for men specifically, but women are welcome to take it. It's not really gender specific or anything, but it is geared towards the masculine imperative, which is to self-improve and conquer. It's the reality. So go ahead and take that. It's totally free. It's 8 emails that I'm gonna send you, 1 per day. So it's 8 days, 8 emails, and that's gonna kind of set your wheels in motion towards this reset. I call it the men's 8-day reset. And it's the least I can do for you guys, right? Because when I was in your situation, I had nothing. I had to kind of just drift through YouTube and find and connect to different creators, which I did. But it took me a long time. So I kind of condensed it all to a sequence of 8 emails where I think there's a little bit of motivation, there's a little bit of guidance, but most importantly, you're gonna get some clarity and direction. That's really what it boils down to. Once you know where you're going, everything becomes so much easier. So go ahead and grab it in the description below. It's 8 days, totally free. If you do it today, you'll get the first email in a matter of minutes. So hit that reset button, guys. I gotta go. But like always, I appreciate you guys and thank you. Peace.